So we have that there. Greetings. Greetings to all of you out there. To my recovering tomato can team. You know, unbelievable. I'm one too. I'm a recovering one too. Don't get offended. Let's see. Let me see what this is all about. That one right there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're alive now, okay, guys? We're alive. We're gonna wait for a couple of Michiganders to get to jump in this like peas and carrots, man. Like peas and carrots. You gotta stick together, ladies and gentlemen, you know? You gotta stick together. It's unbelievable. This is right, you know? Pusiste ahí Vanguard y Black Rock. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exacto. Exacto. Okay. We'll be on in a second, ladies and gentlemen. It's unbelievable. Saludos, Mike. Saludos. It sure is organic. This is 100% organic. Saludos, Bass. Saludos. Welcome. Welcome to the show. We have some information for you guys, you know, that we have to share with you guys, you know. Let me just throw you a little music here so you guys can get comfortable, you know. I feel festive, you know. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. You know, welcome back once again to the greatest watch market update channel in the world, ladies and gentlemen. As all of you know, and to the ones that don't know, this is the real public service watch announcement channel. You know, for people that they don't, you know, you're tired of getting fleeced and flim-flammed, you know, by all these hoodwinks and hucksters. This is the channel to come to learn what's happening out there. And ladies and gentlemen, I gotta tell you today we have a must-see live streaming show today, because what I'm dropping today, I said it wrong. What Sweet Kikino's dropping today is only knowledge that you guys need to hear about, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you always to be kind with us, you know, to be kind with us, because we are a small organic watch channel with real subscribers that give real likes, you know, real views, real comments, and real subscribers, you know. And we're hated for that, you know, and they lock us. They lock us and they put us in the dungeon, you know, because that's how it is. You know, when you say the truth in life, they don't want you to say the truth. But we practice here the truth and what's happening out there. what all these, Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market channels are doing to all of you. And we're not going to permit that. We're not going to permit that, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, so please do not forget, to, help us out with a thumbs up, liking this, this live stream, That's all we ask from you guys. Everything else, we cover it. We take care of it because we are stupid like that. That's how we are, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you quickly a little bit about exactly, we get this. We get this only, deep. Those are the perks that we get in this channel. This kind of perk, Ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Today I was in Costco. I was in Costco, doing a little grocery shopping with the wife, Wife loves me and I love the wife, and we go shopping together over there, to that Costco place. And ladies and gentlemen, we saw today silver back again, back again in the Costco jewelry section, at the unbelievable $540, for 10 ounces of silver. And we saw the gold at $4,120, ladies and gentlemen. Gold and silver are going to the moon, and I'm going to stick to silver. Silver is going to the moon, and maybe Pluto, and over there, Saturn, all the way up there is going to go. It's unbelievable. So I'm going to tell you today, ladies and gentlemen, the troy ounce price of rhodium is $8,000. The troy ounce price of palladium is $1,400. And the troy ounce price of platinum is at $1,530. Silver, ladies and gentlemen, silver is unbelievable. Silver, ladies and gentlemen, is at $50.24. Looking at the people from Australia, you look at Australia, they're like a day ahead of us. They already got, prices and all that good stuff, So we go with it to Australia. I'm just trying to give you guys a heads up. So you're like wondering, how does he have these prices? Because we're stupid like that. We get it, So silver is at $50.24 a troy ounce, ladies and gentlemen. And gold that is going all the way to the moon, is $4,107, That's what's going on, and that is all going to the moon. Those prices are going to the moon, Just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen. I also must tell all of you something, ladies and gentlemen. I must tell you. I told you a week and a half ago that, that Bitcoin, that Bitcoin went down from $125,000 a coin. It went down to $95,000 a coin. But ladies and gentlemen, it gets worse than that, because, it's everybody is jumping off the ship, they're jumping off the boat, they're leaving the captain, behind in the ship. Bitcoin has dropped down, ladies and gentlemen, to $81,900 and dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. Just to let you know, just to let you know. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. BlackRock, to all of you that don't know who BlackRock is that guy, Fink. That guy, Fink Larry? Fink Larry, that guy, BlackRock is dumping, ladies and gentlemen, listen and learn. BlackRock is dumping all their BTC. They're dumping it, they're dumping all their BTC, and you're wondering why? Because, because investors are, still dealing with that U.S. longest in history shutdown, the shutdown, the government shutdown. I bet you guys didn't know about that, but that's how it is, These investors, they're still dealing with that U.S., the United States shutdown, the longest ever in history, ladies and gentlemen. Volatility, volatile. This is unbelievable. I'm telling you this because I need to, talk to you about this. Investors are pulling back. They're pulling back. You understand me? They're pulling back, the investors. These people are unbelievable. Clients, ladies and gentlemen, clients like you guys, Clients are pulling money out of Bitcoin positions. You don't know about that kind of language. You don't know about that kind of language, but we give it to you for free so you can learn. We educate you, you recovering tomato cans that gave away your wife's 401k to that Muppet boiler room secondary gray watch market dealer and channel, and you took your children's tuition money and you put it there. But we're going to teach you guys for free. For free, we're going to teach you because we're stupid just like that, You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say, creative experiment. Coinbase. Listen to what that gentleman is telling you, because this channel is everybody's channel. This is your channel too. It's not my channel. It's your channel, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, for your information, this is a matinee. This is a matinee live stream that I'm giving you guys for free. The only one that does things for free is me. The rest are charging you memberships, this, that, that, thank you, chat, all that stuff. We give it to you for free, papi, for free. I understand you guys like this deep, you like it deep. It's, some people like it deep, but in this channel, we give you the truth, papi. We give you the truth. People are pulling back, ladies and gentlemen, You have all these channels. You have all these channels that will never tell you none of this. But we have to tell you all this. We got to keep on teaching you. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, they're dumping. BlackRock is dumping. Dumping. Papi, this is going all the way down. All the way down. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, be careful. If you have some kind of one of those things, you be careful with those coins. Those coins are dangerous, ladies and gentlemen, Clients are moving. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Clients are moving in different directions. Those clients that have Bitcoin, they're moving in different directions because they know, they can smell it. I told you about that guy, that guy that over there, that Michael, Michael, that guy, that big company has, Micro, whatever you call it. He put 60 billion in Bitcoin. Papi, 60 billion in Bitcoin. And you know what he said, ladies and gentlemen? Let me remind you what he said. He said these words. He says, or Bitcoin goes to zero or hit 1 million. Did you understand that? He said, that guy, that guy that $60 billion, he put his whole company in there, He put his whole company. He said, or Bitcoin will go to zero, or it will go to $1 million a coin. You understand me? So just to let you know where this is going, and today Bitcoin is at $81,900. You know what I'm saying, creative. You know what I'm saying, creative. You teach them. Teach them for free. I do it for free. I do my best. You gotta be careful, ladies and gentlemen. La situación está mala. The situation is bad. The situation is bad out there, ladies and gentlemen. Those cars, they're all over Miami, Florida. You're not gonna believe how they're picking up cars. I don't know, when they repossess something. I think that's the word, repossess. They're repossessing cars all over the place, especially those red gold fast cars. They're taking them everywhere because no hay dinero, papi. That fake money is over. You're not going to see it no more. If you are praying again to see another Corona beer era, it's not going to happen like that. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get no Corona beer era, like the guy over there, the Iron Sheik tunic man over there from Dubai. He wears that white tunic, the white tunic with the thing in his hat, that guy that has like around 150 Richie Millies he can't get rid of. Richie Millies, he can't get rid of him, papi. He can't get rid of them, papi. He cannot get rid of Richie Millies because he's dead. Because he's dead. He's dead in a backyard septic tank and smelly like that. Hold on, guys. Let me show you something that I got, Unbelievable. We are in the holidays, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the holidays. In the spirit, You understand? You gotta see that movie, with that guy. I forgot his name again, but it's a Wonderful Life. They'll teach you everything a Wonderful Life. Wonder look at this. It's unbelievable. That wife of mine is always buying me gadgets. Unbelievable. Christmas is here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm telling you, for your own protection, hold on to your money. La situación está jodida. Don't keep on maintaining these people with stage content. Like those two toddler body brothers. The two toddler body brothers out of Miami. The two toddler body brothers. The only thing they do is stage content. Stage. We sold a watch. We bought a watch. I'm bringing you this watch to see if you buy it from me. It's all stage. You got to get off that. You cannot continue being obedient sheeps. You cannot. These people are flim-flamming you. These people are fleecing you. You know how? They're fleecing your tu mente. Your mind. They're fleecing your mind. And they're doing it all for free, and they know it. You gotta know when you're looking at something that's staged. You think this show is staged? This is the #1 watch market update show in the world, chosen by no other than Fudinki, and Goldman. Goldman Sachs, Goldman, those people, they love us. We're #1, ladies and gentlemen. We give it to you for free. So, ladies and gentlemen, be very, very, very careful. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go into a different subject now. And it's a very, very serious subject. I have spoken to you guys in many occasions about Xinjiang. Xinjiang over there, China. China. And ladies and gentlemen, let me just get this straight out of let me just get it out. You got to be honest. Those people in China, they know how to do watches. They can do whatever they want. These people are unbelievable. These people are Picasso. They're Picasso. They can do whatever they want. Movement, casing, bracelet, whatever it is they can do. But I want to tell you something. I want to tell you something that you need to know about this, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot of people that collect watches in different, watches, not levels, just different watches that they like, And I'm going to talk to you about liking the watch brand Tissot, 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 something to that effect, Tissot. Or maybe you like long jeans, long jeans. Or maybe you like Ores, or Orient, Orient, I don't know, the Orient train. They call it Orient. I don't know what it is, Oriental. Or Hamilton, Hamilton. Or maybe you like Tag Heuer, ladies and gentlemen. But ladies and gentlemen, we are all under attack, at this moment. Because ladies and gentlemen, you see what these people from Xinjiang, from over there from Xinjiang, what these people can do. There's a building over there. There's a building in Xinjiang that, you got ABC, you got ABC, and then you have one-on-one, clones. These people are unbelievable, and they can do whatever they want. And ladies and gentlemen, as you know, Kino is a man from the world, Sweet Kid Kino is a man from the underworld. From the underworld he is, I know you guys want to hear what I'm going to say because you're thinking, what is he going to say, I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to tell you for free. So you can go ahead and pass it along to the channels that you guys cooperate with, thank you chat, a Ruby chat, all that stuff, you can teach them now this, Ladies and gentlemen, there's a gentleman that he loves the watch brand Tissot, Tissot, I think that's the way you pronounce it, Tissot, right? Tissot. And he's unbelievable with that watch, He likes that watch. He believes in his watch. And he's unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, to our surprise, he gets the Tissot. And he sees the Tissot in one of those platforms from China who are who are, I don't know, distributors, they distribute watches, clones, one-on-one. And ladies and gentlemen, I gotta tell you this, he orders one of those Tissot's. He orders one. And ladies and gentlemen, he has that watch and he compares the one that he got from his, authorized dealer of Tissot. And he took the one that he got from Jing. He got the one from Jing. He's unbelievable, this guy. He's almost a watch repairman with movements. He can open the back casing and all that. And when he opened the back casing of that watch, Papi, I got a surprise for all of you, and I'm going to mention to you, if you're looking at Tissot, if you're looking at Hamilton, if you're looking at Seiko, Longines, Oris, Orient, the Orient Bambino, these are names that he's told me, he's taught me this gentleman, I said it wrong. They taught Kino teaches me, and he says that he paid for his Tissot, with a blue dial. It almost looks like an AP, Patek, I don't know. It's unbelievable, It looks like an IWC, the one that he bought with a blue dial stainless steel, and the one that he got from over there from Xinjiang, from China. China is spelled Chyna, China over there from Xinjiang. And you look at it and you put them together, Papi, I got news for you. It's the same watch. It's the same watch. It's the same watch. The same watch, ladies and gentlemen. That Tissot watch that he paid for, I think it was, he said, over $1,000, and he bought one from China. Papi, the same one-on-one, the same dial, same thing, Papi, for 80% off, He says this is the same thing. The people that are making these watches are coming from over there. They're coming from over there. Forget it. They're coming from over there. He spoke to me about the Hamilton watch brand. Let me tell you something. I love Hamilton watches. I got a piece of Hamilton, an Aviator, big watch, 47. And he says this is the same thing. You might be wondering why I'm doing this video. I'm doing it so you guys won't get taken. This holiday season, Black Friday, coming up. I'm preparing you guys. I'm preparing you guys physically and mentally so you guys won't get taken. And ladies and gentlemen, he says that the Tissot, the movement is a one-on-one, 100% the same thing. How? How is it that they're charging in the boutique of that watch brand? I can't keep on saying the name of that watch brand because I'm gonna get a thunder lightning and the show is gonna end and you're not gonna get to hear nothing. He says it's the same thing, the same stainless steel, even the markings of the watch, and the bracelet and the casing is the same thing. So what I'm trying to tell you with this is that be careful. Oh, the other one was the Oris. The watch brand Oris. Again, he said, again, it's the same thing. There's forget about it. It's just, like he tells me, these are watches. These watches don't cost $20,000, $30,000, $10,000. These watches cost, $700, $1,000, $500. So basically, they're being made over there, and the price has to be compatible with better than the one that they sell in the store, in Lincoln Row, wherever you live at, whatever mall you buy your watches from, like Oris, because they say it's the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. Allegedly, I'm not saying this, and neither is Sweet Kikino. It's that guy that he likes, the brands that he likes is the Tissot, the Hamilton, the Seiko. He says, forget about Seiko. Seiko is 100% them. It doesn't matter if you buy a Seiko in a cruise boat and you buy it over there from Xinjiang. It's the same thing. The same thing, papi. La misma mierda con diferente peste. It's the same shit with different smell. That's all. So I'm telling you this, so you be careful out there, because it's very, and he said these words to us, is very, very, very hard to tell if one is a clone, or one is the real one, because both of them have everything exactly. Papi, over there, that building in Xinjiang, they do there, man, in that building, they do there the best. The best. They do it the best, the best, the best. So you got to be careful when buying that tag heuer. It's incredible. And he was telling me also something else, which is like, when you buy one of those watches, because a lot of them come quartz, battery, and you look at the movement of the quartz, the way it is, the same thing too, the same electrical movement. It's uh-huh. It's crazy. So you guys got to be very careful. Thanksgiving is coming on Thursday. Black Friday is coming up, and people are going to go crazy trying to get reward themselves with that Oris, with that Hamilton, that Tissot, Orient Bambino, all this stuff. Longines. You got to watch it. You got to make sure because let me tell you, I am telling you, I'm not going to get involved in showing you any pictures today, because again, I'm very, they might throw a thunder lightning to the TV tower antenna, and the show might blow up and everything might finish. But I must tell you this, because you need to know what's going out there, and they're doing, we are being obedient and being quiet about what happened 5 months ago with China. But China is, listen, out of 100% what we heard, you can't say it's 0%. It's not for real. But ladies and gentlemen, what happened in China is a high 70%, of what's happening over there, and that can never be told. And I'm gonna go as so strong to tell you how big it can never be told. It's like, telling all of us what is in that Epstein, Jeffrey, what they have their one names, It will be lucky if we hear a couple of names, It's like that, It's to the equivalent that you're never going to hear the names of that, Epstein, Jeffrey guy and over there from China, if they do what they do, Papi. It's there, man. This person that told Sweet Kid Kino all this, he's a person that knows, and he says, listen, man, if I would have known, I would have bought all these watches directly from over there from Xinjiang, because these watches are the same thing from the real thing. And again, I'm comparing apples to apples. The Tissot from China and the Tissot from here, from over there, from that that boutique, same thing. The Oris, the same thing. The Hamilton, the same thing. These watches are coming in, and he told me something that was even crazier, because he was telling me that if you want those watches, Sweet Kekino told me that if you want those watches, you can get it naked. You believe this? You can get, if you're dealing over there with Xinjiang and you're making an order, by the computer, because he was telling me also too that you don't even really talk to those people. The way you talk to those people when you're buying them a watch, again, allegedly, what you do is you talk to them by the computer. You have message thing. You talk to them, and there's no calling them. Hey, what's my? No. When you give these people your money, you gotta pray to God that they're gonna send you the goods. You understand me? When you over there dealing with those people from Xinjiang, exactly, that, what's up? Thank you very much, Mr. Blair. Mr. Blair, you're really hearing me, Bobby. You are really hearing me. There's no, picking up the phone, I'm gonna call the office. No. You're doing something is under, the underworld. Underdog. This is underworld, down there deep. And you talk to them and you send them your money. You gotta listen to this. When you deal with those people, you're praying to God that they're gonna get, once you send it via, I don't know, PayPal, Western Union. I don't know what it is, Signal, WhatsApp, whatever. You pray to God that they have the good, the good faith of sending you the goods. Because sometimes they give you this too, deep. You know what I'm saying? They give it to you deep. You don't get nothing. So he was telling me, you if listen to me, you could get these watches from those people, from those distributors. I'm only teaching you guys, I'm only teaching you, I don't want to get in trouble. You can say, I want the watch only, they send you the watch. But check this out. Let's say you want the Tissot. They send it to you with the box. They send it to you with a certificate, or an RS, or Orient Bambino, or Longines. They give you the whole thing. And you're like wondering, why are you saying that? Well, hold on, let me drink a little bit of jungle juice and I'll tell you right now. A lot of dealers that have those brands, they're not really, I want to say this the correct way so I don't offend anybody here. They're not a real big, top shelf, jewelry stores. They're more, they sell perfume, some sunglasses, and they have a couple of earrings and a couple of bracelets, and they have these brands. They have, like I said again, Tissot, Orient Bambino, you know what I'm saying? Hamilton, Seiko, so they're there. And ladies and gentlemen, he was telling me something that blew my hair back and knocked my socks off. You're not going to believe when I tell you this. This is all allegedly, okay? Allegedly. Hear me well out there, allegedly. I didn't say that. Sweet Kid Kino didn't say that. That guy told us all this. He says that most of those perfume, they call them perfume shops, they have those watches and sunglasses, and all that stuff. They even buy it from Xinjiang, they buy it from Xinjiang, Bobby, and it's almost impossible to really see the difference between these two watch, together. He says it's almost impossible. If you're gonna go pound it, you can take whichever you want. They're gonna pound it. They're gonna pound it. It's not a Rolex. It's not an AP. It's not a Patek. You know what I'm saying? It's not a Vacheron. It's just a watch that costs $1,000. An example, and the pawn shop is gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you for this watch as a loan. I'm gonna give you $150. You'll be lucky if you get $150, right? You'll be lucky if you get $150. You might think I'm crazy saying that. But I'm not crazy. I know what I'm telling you. You might be just lucky enough to get $150. And he's saying that anybody will pawn it. Anybody will pawn it. So what I'm trying to tell you is this shopping season, be very, very, very careful. Papi, it's la corrupción, la corrupción. La corrupción está ahí arriba. The corruption is up there, and you can't, you like they say, they make a bust of a container with $8 million worth of those clone watches. They get that one, and 4 more go through Chinatown somewhere, over there in San Francisco. They go another one, So it's all day long. They know already. Let's lose a container here while we put 3 more through here. They went through. You know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say, I'm trying to give you information so you guys won't fall in the trap, papi. La situación está mala. The situation is bad out there, papa. The situation is bad. And I'm telling you, man, it's scary when you take a look at those watches, side by side. It's like I made a video that it was a very, very powerful video. It was the Rolex Sky Dweller yellow gold, pure 18 karat gold. One of the most sophisticated movements that Rolex made. It's been made. And you guys need to hear this. You guys cannot continue skipping around through life like bunny rabbits. You guys are recovering tomato cans that you gave away all your children's tuition money, dental insurance, vision. You know what I'm saying? You took your wife's 401k. You took your 401k. and you're still fighting, Papi, those days will never come back, man. You know? You see that? Listen to what this gentleman here. I love my fake Pepsi was only $600. Well, let me tell you something about that because he said it. I didn't say it. He said it, and I'm going to join him in this. Ladies and gentlemen, you take one of those Pepsi, Rolex Pepsi with a Jubilee bracelet, stainless steel, with the red and blue ceramic bezel, the dial, black dial. Papi, please answer me back if I'm here saying something that's wrong. Papi, you gotta be an expert. He says $600. There's some of them out there that cost, he's gonna correct me now too. He'll tell me now. He bought one for 600, but there's ones that cost 700, 900, 1200, 1500. And those people from Qingjing, you know what they tell you, the people from Qingjing? They tell you, I compare it next to the real thing, and what I have is the real thing. You say, oh my God. Using the same steel, I think it's called, the steel is, yes, incredible. The steel, I think is 904, which is like, the best steel, and it has always been said that the ceramic blue and red bezel, it comes from over there, allegedly, it comes from over there. There you go. There it is. Papi, I'm not monkeying around. I give it to you the way it is. I give it to you the way it is. And let me tell you something. You have to acknowledge and give those people from over there, Qingjing, credit, man. You have to, because they tell you, they're telling you this is a super duper clone, They're telling you, but they're not giving it to you for $100. $400. They're giving you 15, 13, 9, 6, They're telling you, the higher the price, the better the movement. Papi, you know what kind of movement they're using there? If you guys don't know about this, they're using a movement that at times is one of the most oldest movement there is on many watches that you guys own. It's an ETA movement. It's a real movement. It's a ETA, E-T-A, ETA movement. I don't know if it's a 3105. I don't remember right now, but it's the ETA movement. They're giving you a movement that if you are to buy that movement, it's gonna cost you. Yes, it's gonna cost you for that movement. I mean, the more dressed up it is, the more expensive it's gonna be. So you're gonna probably pay for an ETA movement, just the movement, $300 for the movement. And they're making a movement that, our watch brands that we're used to looking at, that we love, Rolex uses ETA. I believe Breitling also uses ETA. It's a workhorse movement. And those motherfroggers, I'm saying it in a good way, and those motherfroggers over there in Qingjing, they can do it, man. They can do it, They can do it solid. So you guys gotta be very, very careful, when you're out there, dealing with watches is a very dangerous thing. Some people are even saying watchmakers, watch dealers, they can't even tell. Listen to me. You guys don't probably believe me, but it's the truth. I'm talking to you square business. There's dealers out there that can't even tell what's real and what's fake. They can't. Those guys over there took it to a different level. Don't forget that. They took it to a different level. So I want you guys to know what's happening with some of these watches. And if you guys give me names, help me with some names on this price range of watches, like the Hamilton, Seiko, Longines, Oris, Orient, Bambino, Tissot. What are the, Tag Heuer? They're making these watches and you'll go, wow, how are they doing it? And I'm telling you, these people can send you from Qingjing. They can send you the box, certificates, paperwork, booklets, whatever it is, they give you the whole thing. And I didn't know. I only thought, because I would always hear, no, they do it with the Rolex watches. papi, they can do whatever you want. You know, you want a half a dozen of this? Yeah, I want a half a dozen of this Tissot model, this Tissot model, and they send you. But then they tell you, we can't send you the whole, dozen in one shot. We have to send you two at a time because they'll stop you in the airport. They'll stop you there. Not you, when the package is coming in, they can, look and it's gone, you know what I'm trying to say, you know? So I'm just trying to give you this information so you guys won't get flim-flam, won't get fleece, this Black Friday, because there's going to be a lot of people. Places where these watches are being sold, I'm going to tell you right now, and they'll tell you in your face. You ask them, is it real? And they're going to say, you think a fake is not going to, going to come with a box certificate? You got to be careful with your local, listen to me, you got to be very, very careful with your local flea market, flea market. Don't get fleeced in the flea market, They're unbelievable. They're dangerous there, dangerous, they're like, those amusement people that go to town, carnies, how do you call them? They move around and you never see them again. They're like drifters, those people that work in the carnivals, The same thing with those people, they move around. They come, boom, they put their other watches there in your flea market, your local one, and you go, oh my God, Jimmy, I bought a Tissot, you're not gonna believe it. The guy gave it to me, these were closeouts. He gave it to me for $3.99. It's unbelievable, it's better than the jewelry store, blah, blah, blah. And what you got was this. This is the perk you got. You got this perk, So you got to be very careful. You guys should be proud that I'm giving you this information. This is why this is the #1 watch market update and the #1 public service watch announcement channel in the world. Nobody can do what we do. Nobody. Okay? Nobody. So you got to be careful with those small perfume places, the sunglasses and watches, those watch models, you know what I'm saying, these watches are beautiful. I'm not laughing at these watches. These are beautiful watches, but that's what they're being made. A little bit of Christmas music. Telling you what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. You need to get prepared because these people have a war with you guys. A war. They have a war, They're not very good. Okay, you see that? He's telling us that from his experience that the clone boxes are not very good. But it's like I was saying, you have different levels of boxes, of watches. These people, they sell levels, which level you want. You want this level or that level. If you get this level, you're going to get a box that is the same thing as that one over there with the same glue, the same craftsmanship. If you want this one, you can smell everything. You can smell the glue, this, that. You can even smell the Chinese rice, You know what I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to make it cute for you guys. I'm trying to make it cute, all right? So please, guys, be very, very careful out there this Black Friday. They're ready to attack you. Flea markets, one more time, flea markets are dangerous. Dangerous. They're like, like those guys from the amusement park. You guys didn't help me with the word carnies. Is it called carnies? That they go town by town and they put the Ferris wheel, You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. Okay? Millions and millions of them. Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a watch market update. Yeah, carnivals, but they're carnies, the people that work there, They're like, they live there in a trailer, when the carnival closes down, they live in a trailer, and then they go now to, from Miami, they go now to, I don't know, Alabama, all over the place. All right, guys, let me give you a watch market update because, you guys want this, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, these watches that I'm going to give you today, watch market update on, these are for some subscribers who have requested to know about these watches. So I'm going to give you a watch market on that. Our first watch is the Patek Philippe Calatrava, the 6000G white gold. You know, it's a watch from 2009, 2009. Calatrava, white gold, leather strap, 39 millimeter. Retail price of that watch, was $29,000. And if you're looking, sir, to buy this watch, because a lot of people send me messages and, right then they want me to give them the price. I always tell them, see my show and I'll give it to you there, they want to, hey, can you tell me this price right now? No, no, see my show, get an organic view, give me an organic thumbs up and I'll give you the watch market. And this is what I'm going to do, sir, for you, okay? Don't pay for that watch, for that Patek Calatrava 6000G white gold 2009, 39 millimeter, $29,000 was the retail price. Don't pay for that watch more than $16,200. You do whatever you want. It's your money. You spend it as you please. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, and dropping faster than Billy Boy's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. Our next watch, ladies and gentlemen, is a Rolex GMT. Rolex GMT, yellow gold. This is an unbelievable watch. This has a pave dial. The dial is full of diamonds. It has a beautiful bezel with diamonds and blue sapphire. You follow me? It has the whole casing with diamonds. It's an unbelievable watch. This watch, ladies and gentlemen, in that Corona beer era was over $250,000. Okay? A quarter, $250,000. Ice style from factory, pave dial, the dial, all diamonds inside, and on the bezel, white diamonds, with blue sapphire, and then the casing full of diamonds. The bracelet is just yellow gold. And that watch was a $250,000. And people were sitting in their Bentley and their Italian car, just sending wire. Money away, burning money away, And it's a 40 millimeter. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want, sir. But I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch more than $107,000 in dropping. You do whatever pressing the button, Poppy, pressing it. They gave money away. Listen, those PPP loans and those SBA loans were giving to any Tom, Dick, and Harry. To any Tom, Dick, and Harry, Poppy. They were giving it away. Give it away, give it away, give it away, get away. Like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, They're not like us. They're not like us. All the way up. All the way up. The Corona beer era. Finish with all of you. Finish with all of you. Because I ain't coming back no more. That ain't coming back no more. You don't know about that. You guys don't know about that, ladies and gentlemen. You guys don't know about that. Let me tell you something else, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give you a watch here. This is a beautiful watch. It's an AP Royal Oak. AP Royal Oak, stainless steel, black dial, chronograph, reference number 26240. Beautiful watch, 41 millimeter. Unbelievable time machine. And there's people out there asking for that watch $51,000, $50,000, $52,000. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, so you won't get taken, sir. You don't pay for that watch. I mean, you can pay whatever you want. It's your money. You give it away, and that's it. Give it away, give it away, give it away like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, They're not like us. They're not like us. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that beautiful AP Royal Oak stainless steel black dial, chronograph, 41 millimeter. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more than $44,500. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. You can go look at the two, those guys over there, those guys, Feet Happy, the two brothers, one is smart and talkative, the other one is introverted, and they hang around with the guy with the, toupee wig man, over there from Beverly Hills, those guys. You can believe what they tell you. You can believe all what you want, what they tell you. It's my channel. I tell you what my prices are. This is my prices. This is why we've been chosen by no other than Fudenki as the #1 watch market update show in the world. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex Daytona. Rolex Daytona. It's a rose gold, Arabic chocolate dial, this is, it has numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, Arabic numbers. And this watch never really, even though they gave it the name Arabic, because when you Michiganers listen to the word Arabic, you go, Arabic is Arabic. This costs $300,000, You go bananas, like the Arabic, numbers on a date, Arabic numbers in a Daytona. You know what I'm trying to, unas locas, parece unas locas enfermas, locas, it's unbelievable, And ladies and gentlemen, you're not gonna believe it, but this watch never could. You know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Donut? They give you the logo there. The logo. I'm just gonna tell you. I believe it even comes with a leather strap. And then they convert it into a oyster. Flex. But I'm gonna tell you because I'm stupid like that. I'm gonna tell you because I'm stupid. The reference number of that watch is the 116515 40 millimeter Arabic chocolate dial. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch more than $27,500. You do whatever you want. Papi. This is the #1 watch market update in the world, Papa. Ask anybody here. They'll tell you that this is the #1. Olvídate de eso. Olvídate. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you another Rolex two-tone. Two-tone. Stainless steel and yellow gold. Unbelievable. GMT on an oyster bracelet. Oyster bracelet. Reference number 116713LN. Has a black dial, 40 millimeter. Beautiful watch, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful watch. But ladies and gentlemen, and sir, to you, you're looking to buy for the holidays. You're looking to buy for the holidays. And you were telling me you were looking at one for $16,400, right? And I'm going to tell you, does anybody know what price I'm going to tell this, organic watch channel subscriber? Or should we just call him, recovering tomato can, Maybe he's not even a subscriber. He's just a tomato can. Does anybody know what price I'm going to tell you for that GMT two-tone, stainless steel and yellow gold with a black dial? Does anybody know? Come on, say it. Don't be afraid. I already told you what he's looking at one because he is a fan of two-tone, of two-tone, stainless steel and gold, yellow gold. Nobody knows, right? Nobody has an idea. Okay, I'm going to tell you, sir, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. Look, $15,000. How can you say $26,000, Mr. Blair, for this is the two-tone watch, GMT, stainless steel with yellow gold, black dial, black ceramic bezel. Well, don't pay for that watch, sir. Don't pay for that watch more than $12,700. Okay? You do whatever you want. Cut the clip from this show and send it out to that lambón, to that palomo. You send it to them. Okay? Look at that, 13,000. You're right there. He knows his numbers. Good for you. Who is this? Oh man, that's a new. Is this a new subscriber? I don't know. But you're smart. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna give you something that you guys go crazy for this. This is the Rolex stainless steel Batman oyster bracelet. Old reference. We have a new reference now with better perks on the watch, power reserve, this, they did a couple of little tweaks, they did to the watch. But this is the old one, This is the old one, the 116710. 116710. 40 millimeter from 2016. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't get scared. It's just a price. You do whatever you want. But don't pay for that Batman old reference number. Oyster bracelet, Batman. Don't pay more. Anybody know? Nobody knows? Nobody knows. 16,500. Mr. Blair, you got to stop giving money away. There you go. There you go, Brand. You got to stop giving money away, Mr. Blair. You're one of mine. You got to stop that and listen to what Brand just put down. You saw what he put down. He put down a price of $12,000. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm stupid like that, don't pay for that Batman Oyster bracelet, stainless steel, don't pay more than $12,700. You do whatever you want, it's your money. I understand you people have deep, deep pockets. You know, you gotta be very, very careful. The watch market is dead. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. They're keeping this afloat with those numbers that you're seeing amongst themselves. The watch shows have been a disaster, a ghost town. Ladies and gentlemen, you had that channel. With the, deputy boxing black eyes or deputy butthole eyes, with the Tweety Bird haircut and his sidekick, with the cap hair, with the hair cap, the hair cap. You know what I'm trying to say, that guy, his sidekick, that guy, he's unbelievable. He's talking about that they sold a 1518 Patek Philippe, giving you 12 minutes, 12 minutes of agony of a watch they sold for $17, $18 million. Ustedes son unos lambones, with that guy, with the white out ears, his sidekick, Jiminy Cricket, with the Chia Pet spray can hair and the baseball cap hair, on him with the white out ears. And he's feeling better himself because he has a very, very low self-esteem. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. If your hair falls off, it falls off, and there's no problem there, But when you're going bananas looking for hair, picking hair from your buttocks and putting it on your head, we're in trouble, We're in trouble. We're talking about Jiminy Cricket, the Chia Pet spray can hair. If you guys want to see that kind of content, Papi, there's no content, Papi. What kind of content is that? They sold it. You didn't sell nothing. You sold this. Tú eres un lambón. Un lambón. Todos ustedes son unos lambones todos. Don't get me started, ladies and gentlemen. I don't like that, I don't like that. Only one watch they sold, And you know who they have working over there? They have working over there in the My Pillow warehouse, because they have a My Pillow warehouse over there, in Pennsylvania. Over there in Pennsylvania, My Pillow warehouse. There's nobody there. No more mad scientists. No more Puerto Rican Charlie Brown. Now they have Bob Marley. You know who Bob Marley is? He's there now. Nobody's there no more. Nobody, papi. No hay dinero. No hay. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch, is this watch. Oh, look. Oh, look, my son. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rolex Daytona Darth Vader. Look, Darth Vader. The Darth Vader, unbelievable. Rolex Daytona stainless steel with a black and silver dial, black ceramic, the Darth Vader. Old reference number, ladies and gentlemen. Old reference number, 116-500, 40 millimeter. You know what I'm trying to say. This is all for free. For free. My time is for free. I do this for free while you guys are over there buying, raffle tickets from the two toddler body brothers with stage content. And over there, the Warris fat bastard, looking for a way to get out of the hole because he's deep. He's deep, He's deep. He's already even using watches that he will never talk about. He's talking about those watches because he's getting greased up. He's getting greased up. Like getting greased up. He's getting all greased up. You know what I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen. He's getting greased up. And you guys gotta watch yourself from these flim-flammers, from the hungry hippo, Mr. Magoo, from the two Jehovah Witness brothers. You understand what I'm trying to say? The two toddler body brothers, the Hindu, the Hindu brothers, like 7 brothers. They have, tape haircuts with the initials of their company here. From Miami, the Indian brothers, like 7 of them. They wear baseball caps backwards. Those guys, you got to be very careful, Papi. You got to be very careful with Big Pun and Heavy D. Where they're two from the Lone Star State. They'll get you, Have you ever seen those guys? One of them was riding in a Harley Davidson. You got to watch that. It's unbelievable that episode when, Big Pun I think it was Big Pun. He was on a Harley Davidson. It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. You know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Donut. You help me out. Help me out with those words so they understand. You know, the Indian brothers from Miami. Unbelievable. Anyway, guys, let me give you another one. You know, the Darth Vader, you know, 116, 540 millimeter. Don't pay for that Daytona, beautiful Daytona. Black dial, black ceramic bezel, stainless steel. Don't pay for that watch more. You do whatever you want. Give your money away. Give it away. Give it away. Give it away like the red hot chili peppers. Don't pay for that watch more. Ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch more than $23,500. You did real well, Mr. Blair. Did very well. Very, very well. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a Rolex stainless steel Pepsi GMT. Only this one has an oyster bracelet. It doesn't have a Jubilee. It doesn't have a Jubilee. It has an oyster bracelet, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful looking watch. And I'm just going to tell you, just so you know what's going on. There's a big difference between an oyster bracelet and a Jubilee bracelet on the Pepsi model. You know, where there's a lot of meat left is on the, Jubilee Pepsi, GMT, and they're trying to bring this one up. They're trying to bring it up, at times they have even tried to do a swap, with a, aftermarket, Jubilee, but it don't work out. You know what I'm saying? You don't know about this. They cut off, they take off the clasp, right? They take off the clasp of an oyster bracelet and they adapt it to a China special Jubilee, to get you taken deep, You don't know about that. Again, I'm dropping knowledge here for free and, yo soy un lambón. Don't pay for that watch more than $17,400. You do whatever you want, okay? The Rolex Pepsi stainless steel with an oyster bracelet. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Rolex stainless steel Daytona Panda. The Panda, white dial, the Panda, beautiful watch, 40 millimeter. Don't pay for that watch. This is an old reference number, not a new. Old, 116500 LN. Don't pay for that watch. If you're smart, don't pay for that watch more. You argue to the end. You show them your stacks, You when you're gonna buy this watch and you're ready to buy this watch, you talk to the person from far away. You go like that to them. You go like that to them, and you make him an offer. And I'm gonna tell you, don't pay for that beautiful Panda, which is a beautiful watch. Cash is king, man. If you have cash, you control the whole conversation. You control the whole conversation. You understand? You tell them over there that you are gonna offer him for the Rolex stainless steel Daytona white dial black ceramic bezel Daytona Panda, the Panda, the Panda. You tell him that you're gonna offer him for that watch. You're gonna offer him for that watch $25,300. That's all. That's all you're going to offer for that watch. No more than that. And it's dropping. Okay? And ladies and gentlemen, this watch that I'm going to give is for a very, a good, all of you are, but he's a real big, avid collector of H. Moser. He likes H. Moser, and so do I. I think H. Moser is, doing unbelievable watches. They're doing great watches. And this is H. Moser Novelty Streamliner Flyback Chrono. It has a matrix green fume dial. It's a beautiful watch. I mean, this is an unbelievable watch. Reference number is 6907-1205. And this watch has a retail price. I'm going to give you the retail on this watch so you know where we're at. It has a retail price of $58,182.49. It has a casing of a 42.5 millimeters. Beautiful watch. Fume dial, Unbelievable. Just check. It's up, okay. It's at 87, okay. I told you guys it was up at, went down to 81,000, something to that, 81,000, okay? don't pay for this watch. This is a brand new watch. This is a brand new watch. And for some reason, it's getting their 50% off, 45, even 55, even 60%. But it's such a beautiful watch. It's a beautiful, beautiful watch. Don't pay for that watch more. I mean, do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more than $31,000, and it is dropping. All right, guys? Guys, I really hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy the watch market update. Be safe. Be safe out there, from all these people attacking you from your wallets, Be very, very careful. So I want to thank all of you for being here with me live on this watch market update matinee. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video. And again, I don't know if I'm gonna make another live from here at Thanksgiving, but just in case, I want to wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving, with your families. Give your family lots of love, lots of hugs, and eat that chicken, that chicken leg, that turkey leg, eat it up and enjoy yourself, enjoy the family, and be safe. All right, guys, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And like me and sweet Kid Kino to me, Joaquin to you, say always, take care and brush your hair. Bye-bye.